What draws you to the style of music that you play? Because it seems like it's a lot darker. Admittedly, I didn't do my homework and listen to anything ahead of time because I've been busy. But it sounds very interesting. Kind of like some stuff I've been listening to lately anyway. What draws you to that style, and what kind of emotions or feelings do you hope that people who are listening feel when they listen to it?
Um, I feel like the music that I make is really just a culmination of like a lot of my influences. Um, so that definitely is what draws me to this style. Like I've always been into bands that are like a little more like dark and brooding and like I get into stuff that has like cool sound design. Um, I like really like cinematic and like big feeling artists. So those are all the sorts of things I've been drawn to, whether that means it's like rock or pop, or I think even hip hop can be that way. Um,
Mhm.
Movie soundtracks. Um, so yeah, it's all across the board. I don't know as far as like I don't write every song admittedly with like the feeling of like, oh, I want somebody to feel this way, or I'm trying to like achieve a goal when I sit down to write songs. A lot of times I try to write things from like the most just like raw, like this is how I'm feeling in the moment type of thing. Um, and sometimes I write lyrics that are like, um, I don't know what you want to call them. They're more like tongue in cheek or like hyperbole. They're not necessarily meant to be taken literally. They're written from like um, an exaggerated perspective. Um, so yeah, I don't know if I sit down and I necessarily think about like, oh, this is the exact way I want people to feel. I want them to feel like whatever they feel. I've had this happen a couple times where people interpret a song I've written totally different than what the song is actually about. But I think that's okay. Like I've
Mhm.
probably done the same thing to somebody else's song. Like, and years later, I figure out it's actually about something
Oh yeah.
totally different. Um, I don't know. I know that's kind of like an open ended answer to your question, but that's the honest answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you could pick one song, whether it was one of yours or someone else's, that really just kind of it's not necessarily a favorite song, but just something that's like describes your life or is like a life anthem. Um, do you have something like that?
Um, Man, that is a tough one.
Yeah.
That is a really tough one. There's a lot of like funny answers I could give you, but um, uh, I mean, I feel like to keep it bad plan centric, like the first song I wrote for this project, "Home," did just kind of like reveal a lot of what this project was going to be about. I had that song written before I named the project, um, and it has become like it's like taken on a different meaning like three times over in my life. Like it was almost like prophetic in a weird way where like I wrote it before things happened in my life and now I look at it totally different. And that was one that came to mind when I was talking about I played it live for the first time 2 years ago, but this year was the first time that we like really toured. And so we really like hadn't heard what that song sounded like to be played by musicians all in the same room together because it was built in the studio until this year, and then it kind of took on a whole new face and a whole new meaning. So that's one I'll say. I don't know if it's the best like soundtrack for my life, but that one has become like a huge thread for like this whole project, just in the meaning of it.